Okay, I gotta address something here that we come up with. We I hear sometimes, and we have this thought in our heads, and I remember it because I had that thought in my head too, and that is I should have to invest in parenting support. And so we have this kind of weird idea in our culture that we shouldn't have to invest in any parenting support. And the thing that's crazy about this is that we take birth classes, we take driving classes, we hire a coach for tennis. But wait, let me get this straight. We're just gonna wing it when it comes to parenting. So we have this weird block against getting support in our parenting. And I really think it's important to just name that. We feel that it like should be instinctual, so we just wing it. And most parents wait until there's a problem and then we're like paying thousands of dollars for therapy later. So the thing is, as a society, we have not actually done a great job of raising emotionally healthy, stable, resilient kids. We kind of tend to believe that it's totally natural for kids to have like a harsh rebellion when they're adolescents. Like it's really completely normal that so many of us do not feel loving and accepting of ourselves. Like this is totally normal, right? Like this is so totally normal in our society. But I don't know, is this the kind of template we want to follow for the just winging it thing? For me, no, no, absolutely not. uh-uh. So, when we wake up to the truth that we need skills, tools, and practices that we simply just weren't taught, does not make you a bad parent or a failure. In fact, it's actually like the beginning of breaking out of unconsciousness and taking the vital first steps towards creating those strong connected relationships. Before we start to do the work, we don't even realize how often we are responding from unconscious patterns. And mindful parenting in the second module, that's what we work on, is start helping you understand and discover those unconscious patterns so that you can make them conscious and actually stop responding to them. It's pretty amazing. It's how we start to change those generational patterns. So, seeing this challenge is the foundation for being able to kind of rise to meet it and to not be swept away by old harmful habits. So we think we shouldn't invest in parenting. For some reason, we're going to invest in therapy, but not in parenting. So then we want to get some help because it's freaking hard. It's so hard to like raise these tiny beings. They drive us in bananas. So where do we get help? Where do we look? We look to ding, 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 the internet. And we look to the internet and we get a lot of free information. And then what happens when we get some free information? We get way too much information. We get conflicting ideas, which leads to like lots of struggle and stress. We have zero accountability, zero personal support, zero community support. So we're like kind of on our own. We're saying this person says this, and then I try it once and then it doesn't work. And so I'm not going to try that again. And we have no clear system. We're struggling. We're stressed. It's a mess, right? Like that's what happens when we invest $0 free for parenting support, right? So what do we do next then? We go for that pile of books. We get the books. Now, I love books. I wrote a book. Here's my book. You can get it. It's great, and it's actually the text for mindful parenting. But there's a problem with we still have zero accountability. You still have zero personal support, and you have zero community support. You don't have others around you. So, I mean, I feel like if I could truly find the person who goes through raising good humans and all by themselves does every single thing that I say in this book, I want to give them a prize. Because the truth is, without accountability and being able to ask personal questions and community support, most of us just don't do that. We don't make change and grow in a vacuum. So then the investment, say you invest in joining the mindful parenting membership, right? Then you get a clear system, accountability for making changes. That's what helps. Live personal support and a powerful supportive community. Like, how do we get what we pay for? Like, when we get free, it's zero. It's like struggle and stress and way too much. And for me, it's interesting to think about this, because I was thinking about this idea of investment, because with my kids, with their school, we didn't have a ton of money, but we thought about, where do we want to make an investment? Do we want to save money for college for them, or do we want to invest in their early childhood? And we did research and we learned a lot about child development. And what we really found out, the truth is that an investment in a high quality early childhood experience pays dividends down the line, much more so than paying for college. So my kids may have to pay for their own college, but they got an incredibly high quality Montessori early childhood education. And the reason is, when we invest in the early years, that pays dividends. But then with parenting, we think, with the early years, I'm just going to wing it. I think I'll know what to do. And then we're struggle and we have stress. And then we're like investing in therapy later. Whereas if we invest in those early childhood years, that pays dividends down the line for a whole lifetime. It's amazing, because the truth is, about those old school parenting techniques, the punishments and the threats and the orders and the commands, is that it gets harder and harder and harder as time goes on. That's why we think that the harsh teen rebellion is totally, completely normal, is because what happens is that parents have used these techniques and kids are rebelling against those techniques, and parents have run out of power because they're just using all this power over their kids, and then they run out of power when kids are more independent, and then they have zero influence left. Whereas when we invest in a system to create, with mindful parenting, we're not using that power. We're not doing those old school techniques. We create a system to create willing cooperation with kids, and it actually gets easier and easier as time goes on. Easier and easier. So as you invest in those early years, things get better and better and better over time goes on. So I just want to offer this. I just want to name it, that this whole belief that I shouldn't invest in parenting support is something that may be holding you back. And I don't want it to be holding you back anymore. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for listening. Oh, and if you want to, so we only open up Mindful Parenting, the membership, a few times a year. If you are ready to stop discounting the value of investing in your family, get on the wait list. Go to mindfulparentingcourse.com and we'll send you the free Mindful Parenting Roadmap and other information. So check that out there. There's links in appropriate places. And I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for listening. Namaste.